The whole month of, like, the whole season of winter, the entire month from December to January is nothing but, like, buying stuff. That's when, actually, economically, the year is, globally, financially, is the best.
I'm no communist, I'll tell you that right now. I believe a man should own his own house and car and cow. I like this private ownership, I want to be left alone. Let the government run its business, and let me run my own.
So you could basically hear that he's basically stuttering. He doesn't really understand what he's talking about. And, you know, this is the same boy who then made a response after that. And he says this.
Scotty M. So what? I have a neurological disorder, and I stutter. And I have a disability. You must feel like such a big man for using such a low blow. I'm not a fucking kid. I'm 20 years old.
Right, so he says he's not a kid and that he's 20 years old. Well, I'm 31 years old. So yeah, I don't know about yourself. At the end of the day, I just think he's making that up. Maybe he does have a neurological disorder or whatever. What do I know? But when it comes down to, you know, him being 20 years old, saying he's not a kid, well, in comparison to me, I'm 31 years old. I'm more mature on this matter. You know, I try to debate the issue, I try to put across the argument, and he just comes back with the childish sort of response saying it's bullshit.
Instance capitalism in a free society that hurts people.
So what you can immediately take from this is the fact that from what this boy's basically been saying before, and from what he basically supports, he's in defence of this communist, Maoist rebel news.
In his lifetime, Mao Zedong was hugely respected for the way that his socialist policies improved the welfare of the Chinese people, slashing the level of poverty and hunger in China, and providing free healthcare and education.
Jason Nunuru, cause Jason Nunuru wouldn't do the video response, this is his video response, try to stand up for Jason Nunuru. Well, the funny part is the fact that he's just admitted himself that capitalism in a free society, in other words, think about that, what he's basically saying to you is, he's admitting that capitalism is in relation to a free society.
Capitalism in a free society.
Think about that. He's actually opposing a free society. That's what's funny about it.
Capitalism in a free society that hurts people.
We'll take a look at this graph. This is a graph here that you can see of the freest societies in the blue, and of course you can see the ones further down the table as you go down are the less free, right down to Venezuela. Venezuela is now sitting 176th on the Freedom Index. In other words, it's an extremely repressed country. If you were to compare number one, Hong Kong as a free society, if you were to compare Hong Kong to Venezuela,
whole street here, these side streets here in Jordan district of Hong Kong is where you find the street eats, you find the clothing, and you find of course the unsavory side of Asia, if that's your thing.
You would notice an enormous difference. Hong Kong from 1961 to 1997 had closed the wealth gap between the rich and poor. The beautiful thing about Hong Kong is the very fact that it has no natural resources, it had no national minimum wage, yet as one of the poorest places on earth, once a small fishing village, Hong Kong, with no natural resources, had thrived and prospered, not just closing the wealth gap between the rich and poor. They went from an average household income of less than 5,000 to more than 38,000, and that just goes to tell you something. To do that with no national minimum wage will show you a prime example of what the free market can do for them. But if you were to compare this to, for example, Venezuela.
Long queues outside supermarkets are an all too common sight in Caracas these days. People wait for 1, 2 or even 3 hours to buy basic foodstuffs, which are in short supply in Venezuela.
Venezuela, all thanks to the price controls and everything else, causing the food shortages and all the rest of this, which I will of course get around to doing a video. The brief again you can check out on pricing, but I will do a video explaining on price ceilings, which of course Venezuela is a perfect example to use in this regard. But if you compare Venezuela, which is an extremely poor country yet has vast resources, that will go to show you the difference between a country like Venezuela to a tiny, what was once a tiny small fishing village, now a thriving big booming city of Hong Kong or Singapore. And that, you know, shows you just how much nonsense the boy hits out with. He doesn't understand. So anyway people, that's part 2. If you liked the video, feel free to like the video below, share the video, you know, subscribe if you like my channel, favourite video or whatever, and don't forget 2 other videos you can check out, which of course, if you haven't seen part 1, which is there to the side, and of course the other video that I had done on theory and practice, which was in, you know, response to Red Scare TV. So you can check those videos out, plus the fact what I do have coming, like I did explain, was a video I will do on a price ceiling to explain why, you know, Venezuela ended up in the mess it did. So I will of course also have that. Don't forget you can also check out the pricing video that I did mention. And anyway, hope you liked the video, and I shall talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Cheers.